translating and commenting on the most essential literature. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the most important literature in the Madhava, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, the tradition that we belong to. So Prabhupada's plan was to be able to translate the entire Srimad Bhagavatam and comment and publish it for the benefit of all the devotees. And he knew that the section of the Bhagavatam which is the most important is the 10th canto. And the 10th canto happens to be the most voluminous. It's the biggest canto. It's like 90 chapters or something like that. Really big. So Prabhupada just wanted to make sure that all the knowledge contained in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam would be communicated to the Vaishnavas, to the devotees. So therefore, he took upon himself to do something very unusual. He did it with another book as well, but he summarized the entire 10th canto in the Krishna book. And Prabhupada told the devotees that actually he didn't write that book. He told them that Krishna was dictating to him from within the heart to write the Krishna book. So the devotees had all 90 chapters in one volume of Krishna. First it was 3 volumes, but in one book, so to speak. So Prabhupada was happy with that. And as we can see, he managed to start the 13th chapter of the 10th canto just before he left the planet. And then some of his senior disciples continued his work, translating and commenting on the 11th and 12th canto, and then finally the rest of the 10th canto. So in the Krishna book, that was actually financed by George Harrison of the Beatles. He gave a big donation. There's a whole story about how that happened too, but we don't have sufficient time. So George Harrison actually wrote the preface to the Krishna book, and I can quote him. He says, everybody is looking for Krishna. Some don't realize that they are, but they are. That's what George Harrison said. And this is a very powerful insight that captures the essence of our existence. Because our deepest longing, our deepest desire is not for a career or for a car or for a companion. It is for our lost relationship with the Supreme Person, Krishna. So that's what we're actually looking for. When I was a young boy, it was during the time we had black and white TV, but they still started to have this sitcoms or soap operas, as we call them, coming out from America. So there was one very popular show. I don't know if you guys ever watched it. It was called Lucy Show.
Yeah.
You watched it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. It was Lucille Ball, kind of famous actress, and her friend Vivian. They lived together and they made some hilarious things. So in one episode, it was kind of funny, because they had like you can say a friend or an acquaintance. It was the manager of a bank, and he was managing not only the bank, but he was also managing Lucy's bank account, and he was all the time afraid that she would spend too much. So he could sometimes come and visit in their home to check out. So one of those occasions, he knocked on the door, came in the room, then he found Lucy. His name was Mr. Mooney, not Mr. Money, but Mr. Mooney. He had this little funny mustache and a suit, you remember.
Yeah.
So Mr. Mooney came to visit Lucy and her friend Vivian, and he found Lucy crawling on the floor on hands and knees, like this. I said, "Oh, Lucy, what are you doing?" "Well, I lost my earring, so I'm looking for my earring," she said. "Oh, good, okay, I can help you. Where did you lose it?" I lost it there in the bedroom. Okay, but why are you looking here in the kitchen? It's much better light in here. I don't see so well. So we living beings are looking for happiness in the dimension of matter. We're looking for joy in things that we can touch, smell, hear, taste, and feel. That's where we look for happiness. Forgetting that our real nature is explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. He said, Jivara Svarupoi, Krishna Nityadas, meaning that the living entity's real constitutional position is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. And that's where we find our happiness, by serving Krishna. We are not these bodies. These are material bodies that we carry around for a number of years, sometimes just a few, like they sing, some die young, and sometimes for a full lifetime of 70, 80, 90 years. But we are not these bodies. We are eternal jivas, or atmas, full of knowledge and bliss, Satchit Ananda. We're fully conscious, and we are meant to love and serve Krishna. But love must be freely chosen. Love is nothing forced. So that's why Krishna gives us free will. Unfortunately, some of us misuse this free will. Some of us jivas choose to try to enjoy separately from Krishna, without worshipping him, without serving him, without glorifying him, without being his friend or his parent or his servant. Srila Prabhupada explains, he says, by misuse of our independence, the living entity falls down into material consciousness. We forget our true spiritual nature. Still, because Krishna is very merciful, he actually honors this free will. He honors our misuse of free will by creating this material world. He manifests this material world. This is a place not for punishment, but for reform. We need to be reformed. We come here with some mood anomaly. And by the creation of this environment, Krishna is hoping that we will come to our senses voluntarily and resume our eternal position as Krishna's servants. The way the world works is that it's governed by laws, universal laws. And I'm not just talking about the law of gravity or the law of the electromagnetic force or something like that. But I talk about dharma. Dharma is coming from Krishna. In the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam, Yamaraj tells us, Dharmam tu sakshad bhagavat pranitam. Dharma is directly enacted by the Supreme Lord. Why? Well, Dharma is a big set of rules, mostly moral rules, ethical rules, pertaining to our particular position in this world, in this life. So there's general Dharma for everyone, how we can behave and interact so we have a civilized society. And then there's some special Dharma for ladies, special Dharma for Brahmanas, others for Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, etc. So by following this Dharma, especially the Varnashram Dharma, the soul gets some training. If we follow the Dharma, then comes what? Artha comes, and Kama. Artha means necessities, important necessities, and wealth, resources. That means we get good karma. If you follow Dharma, you get good karma. And then when you have good karma, you have Artha, then you can use these, assets, this wealth, to gain kama, sense gratification, material happiness. That happens, and it's not false, but it's totally temporary. So this is the path, what is called the pravritti marg. You follow the Dharma, then you get some artha, and then you can get kama. And finally, when you had enough of this, you maybe come to your senses and you want to get liberation from the entanglement. Because whether you get bad karma or good karma, you become entangled in this material world. Now, to tell you the truth, as you know, there are 4 ages in the Mahayuga. You have the Satya Yuga, which is also called Krita Yuga. Krita means when things are done properly. Krita comes also from karma. So in Satya Yuga, everybody's following Dharma. Everybody is a Hamsa, like a saintly person. So there is no need for the Varnashram Dharma because everybody belongs to the category of Hamsa or Paramahamsa even. Everybody's following Dharma. But as you know, Dharma rests on 4 legs. We learned that from the first canto. So it's mercy, it's austerity, it's truthfulness, and it's, what's the 4th one? Truthfulness, mercy, austerity or self-control, and
love.
No, not love. It's connected to the 4 regulative principles. By speaking the truth, we are following the Dharma of truthfulness, like this, by not lying and cheating, no gambling, that's the principle, right? And by not eating meat, fish, and eggs, we follow the principle of mercy. It's purity, the 4th one, because that comes from no illicit sex life, right? And self-control, austerity, comes to taking no intoxication. So you have the mercy, purity, cleanliness, purity, and truthfulness, and austerity, self-control. So these are the 4 legs of Dharma. So in Satya Yuga, the longest age, everybody followed Dharma. The bull Dharma, he had his 4 legs. But in due course, he loses 1 leg at a time. So in Treta Yuga, he loses 1 leg, and then it was necessary to introduce the Varnashram Dharma. And then he loses another leg in Dwapara Yuga. So when he enters the Kali Yuga, he has only 1 leg left, which is the leg of truthfulness, which is somewhat present in the judicial system. People can go to court, to prison. We have courts, and we have police, military, etc. So in Kali Yuga, it's not much use really to speak about Varnashram Dharma. We try to follow the most basic dharmas like this. If you want to be a civilized person, you don't eat meat, fish, or eggs. You don't take intoxication. You don't, engage in illicit sex life, and you don't gamble, speculate money like that. But our main concern in this age is what is called the Yuga Dharma. Every age has the Yuga Dharma, and when you engage in the Yuga Dharma, the path is more straightforward. It's not the slow path like the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You may have to do that for many, many, many lifetimes and accumulate gradually sukriti, good reactions, good karma, and you finally come to the point where Krishna thinks now you can actually start with the shortcut, with the Bhakti Yoga, which is the Sankirtan Yagya in this age, is the quick path back home, back to Godhead, because then you are directly engaging in glorification of the Lord. So this slow path is basically a little training for the soul, because when you come to this world, when Krishna manifests the material creation, along with the jivas comes something called fruitive work. And that is the arrangement that we are endeavoring, working very hard. We are looking everywhere to get the fruits, which is the happiness. So the world today is engaged that people have to work very hard to make some money so that they can enjoy. Everybody has to go to work or run their company or some or another. Even by criminal means, they have to endeavor very much to rob people or whatever, so they get money, artha, so they can enjoy kama. So this process is not very good. We see many people who knows about Dharma, particularly Indian congregation. They know about Dharma from childhood, and they have great heroes like Lord Ramchandra, for example. He's the personification of Dharma, the king, Dharma, and we worship him, and that's good because Ramchandra is no different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like that. But the thought in many of the Hindu congregation is that yes, we can come to the temple, do a little worship, that's Dharma, and then we can give some donation, and then we will get artha, and then we can enjoy kama. But the best thing is, if they come here, we will involve them in the Yuga Dharma, which is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have people following Dharma in general, which is nice. These people are called pious people, pious or righteous. And then you have the bhaktas are following the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga, chanting Hare Krishna. But then we have many people that violate Dharma. And when you break the rules of Dharma, you get bad karma, and then you have to suffer. Then you become punished. This is not the purpose of this world, to punish jiva, but you choose. If you break the karma, you're totally into sense gratification, and by hook or by crook, you just want to enjoy in this world without following any rules or regulations, then you get bad karma. And the risk is we lose this very valuable human form of life, where we have the choice to follow Dharma, to follow Yuga Dharma, to actually make spiritual advancement. Leave this miserable material condition. But if you continue to misuse your free will and just choosing not to surrender to the principles of Dharma or surrender to the holy name, surrender to Krishna, then you will not get any good results. On the contrary, you will get bad results. Eventually, if you're very fortunate and following Dharma like this, you can understand that this world, this is not where the happiness is lying. This is not the place. This is like the kitchen of Lucy show. You can look and look and look and look, but you will never find your earrings because you lost them over there in the bedroom, right? So, in Satya Yuga, as I said, tapa shaucham daya satyam. Every dharma was very strong, but in Kali Yuga there is only truthfulness. And therefore the old system of dharma, artha, kama, moksha is too slow, the pravritti marga. Therefore we can learn from the Brihadaranyaka Purana, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. Chanting the holy name is the only way to attain perfection in Kali Yuga. So Sankirtan, the together glorification of Krishna, is Krishna's special mercy for this age. It's a direct reconnection with Krishna. When you follow Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, you mainly think of the material sense gratification of yourself or your extended self, like your family, your wife or husband or your children. So Krishna is not much in the picture. But when you glorify him through the Harinam Sankirtan, that's a direct reconnection with him. In 1966, Srila Prabhupada, he saw the young people in New York literally drowning in confusion. They were so confused. So Prabhupada said, they have tried everything. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, everything. And still they are not happy. So now let them try Krishna. That was Prabhupada's mission. So Prabhupada gave them prasad, which is Krishna. He gave them kirtan, which is Krishna. He gave them philosophy, Bhagavad Tattva, which is also Krishna. And they were transformed through this process. Because if you don't glorify Krishna, you will not find the happiness. How hard you try, doesn't matter. Even the compiler of the entire Vedas, Srila Vyasadeva, Dvaipayana Vyasa, he was not satisfied. He was complaining to his spiritual master, Narada Muni. I wrote down all these scriptures, I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied. So Narada Muni told him, your problem is you didn't glorify Krishna directly. So you should write the Bhagavatam, which is only glorification of Krishna. He was only glorifying Krishna throughout every page. And then he became completely satisfied and happy. Even Vyasadeva, such a great personality. So, you will find everything you need in the Shastra, in the revealed scriptures. However, simply reading many books will not help you. You don't know what kind of books you should read and how you should read them properly. Therefore, Krishna, he also manifests himself as the spiritual master, as the guru. And the Adi Guru, we will celebrate him in a few days, is Balaram. Balaram is the one that supports everything else. Balaram is the one that actually manages all the jivas, manifests the whole material creation, simply to serve Krishna like this. So Balaram is the best servant. And he's the original spiritual master. And the pure devotee who speaks the message of Krishna is simply an extension of Krishna. He is to be treated the same way as you treat Krishna. Problem is, in this world, the influence of the external energy is very strong. Even the dharmic principle of the core family, we have 4 ashramas, meaning that individual go through first brahmachari, student life, and then they get married, grihastha, and they hold a house, Krishna conscious household, for a number of years, raising a family, and then when the children grow up, they take vanaprastha, and then some take sannyas. This is a natural progression. But the external energy is very strong and becoming very unpopular these days to get properly married, to have a proper home and a house, and raise children properly. Now all these things is, the pride philosophy, the transgender, everybody can love whatever else. They're kind of dissolving the whole family structure, which is a very solid foundation upon which you can base a spiritually inclined life. So you lose faith in the Grihastha ashram like this. It's no fun anymore to be. And similarly, since you don't need a husband, or you don't need a wife, and you don't need children, you don't need anything, same thing with the guru. You don't need a spiritual master. Everybody can be totally enlightened by reading some book here and there from this and that Swami, or some people that jump immediately to the 10th canto and read about Krishna and the gopis, like as if they were ordinary boys and girls having some romantic interchange like that. No guidance. But you go to school, still there are teachers. If you learn math, the teacher is there to individually coach every student. Oh, you are on that level, then you should read this chapter, and you should read that chapter. The function of the spiritual master is to help and guide the student of Bhakti Yoga in what to read, which books, which chapter, on which level. Some people will jump immediately to the very advanced books of the 6 Goswamis, Vijapati and Jagadananda, all this, Rupa Goswami, a description of very, very intimate passages of Krishna, Srimati Radharani, which is not good at all for most of us. We need to read this book first of all, especially the 2nd chapter. We are not this body. And if we understand that we are not this body, then we're not going to run like crazy horses for sense gratification. Running, oh, I have to work, get money, and then, no, I want this and I want that, and then I will be happy. No. Spiritual master can individually coach each and every student because he knows them. He knows them what they need to make advancement in spiritual life. And not only that, he knows also what kind of skills they have, what is the best engagement in devotional service. You know this, then you should do this for Krishna. And you know this, then you should do that for Krishna. Like that. Very good. You know. You could set up this camera and microphone on some place where some guy will speak some completely nonsense. The same skill, you know, and then you can live stream it on Facebook. But you made the conscious choice. This is not misuse, this is good use of your free will to use your particular skill. I'm sure that this lady would have a hard time connecting all the cables and do the programming on the computer, but you know how to do that. And to use that skill in the service of Krishna for broadcasting the message of Krishna, that's the perfection of life. So this, just like a knife, you can use for killing somebody, stuck it in the heart and end his life. You can use the same knife, carefully cutting away a tumor, a cancer, and save the person's life. So it is explained, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Varaja Uchati. The perfection of renunciation is not to reject everything. Now I should just become enlightened. Yes, I know everything. I know the truth. I don't want to have anything to do with this world. Perfection is you can do whatever you want in this world as long as you do it for Krishna. You can use the microphone for Krishna. You can use the car for Krishna. You can use the kitchen for Krishna. You can use your technical skill, your handicraft skill, whatever, for Krishna. That's the definition of Vairagya, Yukta Vairagya, not to reject everything foolishly. If you use your skills in the service of Krishna, that's pure devotional service. So the spiritual master helps the student with the Sambandha and the Abhideya. These are the two stages Bhaktivinoda Thakur and others explain before you attain prema. Prema is the goal of life. It means pure love of God, right? And the spiritual master helps you by giving you knowledge according to your level, you know. He speaks knowledge and you can ask questions. It's said in the Bhagavad Gita, Tad vidi pranipatina pariprashna sevaya. The spiritual master has seen the truth, and therefore when you ask questions, which is one of the qualifications of a student, then the spiritual master will answer. And you also serve him, and you humble surrender to the spiritual master. Not thinking, well, I know already, I don't have to ask anyone. And just, that's pratishta. In so many places, Krishna says, one needs to be humble, because pride is the main reason why we are in this world. We're too proud. Who needs Krishna? I can enjoy independently like this. So, be more tolerant than the tree and more humble than the straw on the street. And humility is one of the 6 aspects of surrender. We have been talking about that before. So if you approach a spiritual master, which can be of different varieties, then you should ask questions, be humble, and do some service. Spiritual master is the Diksha Guru, one who gives initiation, connects you to the Parampara, gives you a spiritual name, and you promise to follow the regulative principles like that. But just as important are the Shiksha Guru. Krishna explains that I am not, in the 11th canto, Krishna says, I am non-different from the Shiksha Guru. You find qualified Vaishnavas, you take instructions from them, and then they will help you make advancement in spiritual life. And then you even have Vartman Pradarshika Guru. That means basically anyone who can point you in the direction. I want to hear about Krishna. Well, go to Mindfulness Home on Sundays. It's over there, Nobelvägen 11. That's a Vartman Pradarshika Guru. That could be anyone. And then you have the Chaitya Guru, which is Krishna, his voice in the heart. He said, Brahmanda Bhumite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasadabhai Bhakti Lata Bij. So you get the mercy from Krishna to meet the spiritual master. After you've been traveling in this universe for innumerable numbers of lifetimes in different species of life. Even as a human being, you may go through many, many lifetimes. Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Mante. He says, Manushyanma Sahasreshu Kashtit Yadati Siddhaya. Many thousands of people are looking for the truth, but very few people know me as I am. So that's why reading books is not sufficient. You need to get help from a spiritual master through receiving sambandha, knowledge about your connection with Krishna, and to be properly engaged in devotional service. Because if you don't have a spiritual master, Diksha or Shiksha Guru, who gives you proper engagement in bhakti, then you will do so many other things. Some of them may not be very productive for making spiritual advancement. So the more you are engaged in Krishna consciousness practically, the less you are inclined to do nonsense. Fill your life daily with practical activities, chanting, reading, cooking, preaching, doing so many different things for Krishna. So, Guru Rupa Krishna Kripa Karena Bhaktagan. Guru Rupa, the form of the spiritual master, is the mercy that Krishna shows you. Krishna Kripa. Krishna shows mercy to the devotee in the form of the spiritual master. So you can say that the Guru is this very, very special thing, while everybody else is under the total grip of Maya, totally under illusion and overpowered by Maya's power. Then the devotee can take the outstretched hand, which is the spiritual master. This is how Krishna reaches out to the devotee. No different from Balara, guiding the soul back to Godhead. So actually, in our endeavor to attain happiness, Krishna is the soul's only true object of love. Because Krishna is all attractive. And it's not just because he has all the strength, that he is almighty, he has all the wealth, he has all the fame, he has all the knowledge, he's omniscient, and he's all renunciation. But most of all, because he's beautiful. Krishna's beauty is very, very special. His beauty, his sweet names, his pastimes, and his loving heart. Because nothing, neither knowledge, renunciation, or indulgence, can satisfy the soul like loving Krishna. And you go through different phases. It all starts with what we call the sadhana bhakti. Sadhana means regulated devotional service. And the first part is vaidhi bhakti, when you have rules and regulations and routines. Like every morning we can chant some song to the spiritual master, we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we read the same every day. That's the vaidhi bhakti. But then you get a little bit of attachment. Then you spontaneously engage in regulated devotional service. You don't just chant your rounds and follow the principles because you want to obey the Guru. I want to follow his commands. You follow because you want to. You have some attachment. I like chanting my rounds. I like offering my food. I like doing some extra service. So that's the sadhana bhakti. The regulated you do out of obedience, and regulated you continue to do out of getting some attachment to it. And then comes the next stage, which is the raga bhakti. Then you really become attached to Krishna. You can't live without doing your service, doing all these things. That's the raga bhakti. And the final, that's the prema bhakti. Prema bhakti yaha hoite. You get the prema bhakti also through the mercy of the spiritual master. Avidya vinashayat. He destroys ignorance, and he places pure devotional service in the heart of the aspiring devotee. So the journey of the spirit soul ends with the surrender. Krishna even says in the Bhagavad Gita, forget about all this dharma. And the dharma he's talking about is basically, the Varnashram dharma and everything else. that you follow to get material benefits. When you reach that far that you can surrender your whole self to Krishna, then you don't need those dharmas. Then you just need to continue your devotional service. So the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanavam Mam Prapadyate. After many, many births and deaths, one who is in knowledge, surrender to me. So that's the result of knowledge. Raja Vidya Raja Guyam. This is the kingly knowledge, the most secret of all secrets, Krishna says. And then you understand, finally, that everyone is looking for Krishna, but most of them are like Lucy in Lucy's show. They're going to look and look and look and never be satisfied, never be happy. When we chant, when we serve, when we surrender, we finally stop searching and start experiencing the happiness that we were always meant to know. Okay? So that was all from me for today. Maybe somebody has a comment or a question. Listen.
For example, you have a remote guru. You don't have too much contact with guru. How do you decide on whether to do one thing or another thing based on your knowledge and your experience?
In the old system, one can read about some of the books, like, for example, one very nice book you can read when you become a lot more advanced is Jaiva Dharma by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he discusses the temporary Dharma, what we need to have a civilized society. But he also describes the Nitya Dharma, the eternal, or the Jaiva, the Dharma of the soul. Not the Dharma of the body. That's kind of important to one extent, as long as you have a particular body. But in the next life you may have a different body, and you have different, it's called Naimitika, temporary Dharma. So, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes is how in the tradition, in the old days, you always accepted a guru, which you had even daily access to. You can go to his ashram, maybe it was the next village. You walked for 10, 15 minutes, half an hour, and then you can pay your obeisances and sit down and listen to your guru speak. You can ask questions. So every village, they had a spiritual master like this. And this is the ideal way to make progress. I can't say exactly how it became like this within ISKCON, because there is a mix. There are both local gurus and both gurus who lives like on the other side of the world. And I know personally some friends of mine were actually not very happy by having such a guru who doesn't even answer the emails and maybe have thousands and thousands of disciples, you know. So I know that they're working on it, and it's going to kind of spread more out the spiritual masters. I think because in the history of ISKCON, first was Prabhupada, pure devotee, directly from the spiritual world. Prabhupada never fell down. He was acting until the very last breath, dictating his translations, right? But after him came some group of devotees of different caliber, and most of them fell down. And the way they arranged it was, each was like, had a geographic area. South America, North America, Europe, India. There were a couple of them in India, somebody in Australia. And everybody who wants to take initiation had to surrender to that particular person. Unfortunately, most of them had problems and left the community of Vaishnavas. So ISKCON is rather confused these days with the guru issue. And maybe in India people are still joining, and in Russia there is a few gurus like this, but like in Sweden, there are practically no gurus, and there are practically nobody getting initiation, and nobody's joining because of the confusion of ISKCON, like this. So, if you choose a spiritual master or guru, choose wisely. It's your choice. You know, you can watch video clips, YouTube, and thinking, "Whoa, he has so much charisma. Oh, I have to get initiation." But you know, you have to meet this person and be with this person for an extended time. Ask questions, serve him. You know, you don't accept a spiritual master because of a video clip. That doesn't work. Or reading one book that he wrote or two books. No, you have to be there. Then there's no risk. So I don't know what's going to happen, you know, because there's difficulties with the tradition. If you go back to our tradition, like I said, there was like spiritual masters, one or more in every village in India. Nowadays there are many spiritual masters, many of them are bogus. People think that you just grow a beard and you wrap a bed sheet on your head, then you can start speaking the absolute truth. You know, we have all these guys coming to the American talk shows and like that. So Kali Yuga makes it not very easy to pick a person that you feel can actually give you proper guidance in spiritual life. It's not easy. Same thing with the sannyas ashram. People used to take sannyas in India before quite easy, you know, because they went through the whole process: brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. Now in ISKCON there has to be some application, and you have to be on some waiting list. And the last thing I heard was that if you're aspiring for sannyas, then the GBC have to assign you with what they call a problematic area in the world to go and preach and try to make devotees. And so we just had one Swami coming to Alnvik on such a mission, because Scandinavia.
Which one was that?
I think his name was Padmalochan,
Okay.
and he has a new name now as a Swami, and he's going to Alnvik and turning everything upside down. Everybody's totally upset, and that's another story. So that Scandinavia is considered to be a problematic area. We don't have a GBC secretary for many years, for example. So in the middle of everything, people like yourself is trying to seek guidance from a living person who can tell you the truth and can give you personal guidance what to do with your life. It's not easy. So I wouldn't be, you know.
But we have this Swami now, Keshava Swami.
Yeah, he's coming also regularly.
He is really fantastic.
Yeah.
So intelligent. You know?
Yeah.
So and with him, he starts giving hope, you know, because he has given these 3 young guys orange clothes.
Absolutely.
So
I was pushing a year ago that they should put on orange.
yeah,
I wanted to make a fire sacrifice.
yeah,
Finally they did,
yeah,
and they're out preaching.
yeah.
They were here a few weeks ago, and it's wonderful to see.
And
So
they
I'm,
have 2 years with these clothes, and if they want to continue, or if they want to marry, or whatever, you know.
yeah, you know, whatever. I
Yeah.
joined as a brahmachari and wore white for 6 months, and then I got initiated. We changed to saffron.
Okay.
So things are changing
Yeah.
depending on what are the new rules within our society. So, and I don't think Swami Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj, he's not yet giving Diksha, but he's a very good Siksha Guru. So some people come in, and he's not so far away. He's in UK, but it's not that you meet him every week, you know.
But I mean, he's all over the world, actually.
Yeah, he's
all over.
he's all over, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another potential problem, but maybe he will start giving Diksha one day. But as a Siksha Guru, you have him, there are other, you know, experienced senior devotees that you can choose as spiritual guide.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Keshava Swami, he lived 20 years in England, you know,
Yeah.
and studying and everything, and now after 20 years he became a Swami. He's so full of knowledge, you
Yeah.
know, it's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
My guru initiated him, you know.
He did?
Yeah,
Oh, I
for
didn't know that.
Swami, for the Swami.
Ah, he gave
Yeah,
sannyas,
yeah.
Kadamba Maharaj. Okay.
So
I
yeah.
That's
have one
nice.
question. Like you mentioned.
So, okay, is that okay? Answer. Yeah?
Yeah, thank
So you really have to think, you know. I didn't want to make you more confused, because it's very easy just to accept any guru. You think, oh, he's nice, and then but is this the real person for you? Right? Is this somebody that you can get?
It took me 25 years
Yeah.
to, I've been in the Krishna
I know.
Yeah, but finally,
Yeah.
I found the one.
Yeah. I wish we could get back to the old system, which was very, very simple, and the way you see how devotees are interacting. It almost makes me cry when you read a book like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. One very advanced Swami come and meet another very advanced guru, and they fall on the floor, both of them, and they embrace and they cry, and I mean, please give me your mercy. No, give me your mercy. No, you're the most advanced. No, you are the most advanced. I mean, this kind of, it used to be like that in the early days also, when Prabhupada was around, and just some few years when he left. But then came more and more this position, and how many years has you been in the movement, and when did you get initiated? And we need to get back to our heart, and you have to use brain and heart when you select a guide in your spiritual life. That's important. Okay, you had a question, Mati?
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned we choose the guru, or we see some video, and
He
maybe
chooses you also.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
I wanted to ask. Yeah, one thing, and the other thing, we can judge little the system, and maybe if it is like the Krishna, it is in control in everything. Maybe it is the reason why it happened, and what it is till comes the moment you really are ready to get initiated. The guru to find you, and you to find the guru. And can be the video too, can be the book too, doesn't matter. I believe we connect in some ways till comes the moment, the right moment.
You really put your finger on a difficulty here, because why is there scripture? Why is there guru? Why are there sadhus? Sadhu Shastra Guru. Why is there Shiksha Guru? Why is there Diksha Guru? Why is there Chaitya Guru? Chaitya Guru is Krishna. So absolutely, he's the super soul, and he can give you direction. The difficulty is, if you're not an absolutely pure devotee, you cannot distinguish the voice of God from the voice of your mind. That's the problem. That's why we have scripture, we have other saintly people and like that can help and guide you, so that you don't fall in the trap of picking a person that later on will let you down, or that you will have no contact with, no guidance, nothing. That's the thing. So when you're 100% sure that this is not the mind, this is Krishna talking to me directly, maybe somebody else says something, but I just listen to Krishna in the heart, then fine, you make your choice, and then you see where it leads you.
This can be one side. The other side can be we see their action, what they are doing, who they are, how they present.
That's also on YouTube, you know.
Not just.
You have to go and sit there, be there, have an exchange, ask questions, serve directly, personally, you know. That's how you do.
Where comes the time? Maybe somehow we can understand more and more ourselves.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I saw a little clip from today with the Shivaram. And he's
swimming.
Yeah, swimming 10 kilometers in Thames.
Yeah.
I don't today or yesterday, I don't know, but with a full suit, you know. And he said that this is the only thing with exercise I can do right now.
77 years old.
Yeah, he's so fantastic, you know. So,
really far out.
I mean, my head, a ryser when I think about it. He's such a wonderful person, you know. But he is so strict. He's so
he is. And the thing he does with this event is to focus on book production, book distribution, this.
In Turkey and
in Turkey. This is very good.
Yeah.
Then again, I've been working with the BBT for decades, and in 1972, Srila Prabhupada founded the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. It's a trust, so it has a particular purpose, because before it was ISKCON Press, it was part of ISKCON. Now he separated, so he made this particular trust document, and when you make a trust, it's absolutely defined for all future what the purpose is of the trust. Nobody can come in, take over, vote, or change anything. And Prabhupada wrote, BBT has two purposes. What they will do with their proceeds, the income. Number one is half of it should go to renovate and build new temples for ISKCON. That's 50%. So if they get 1,000 crowns, 500 crowns should go to build temples and renovate old temples. The other 500 crowns, the other 50%, should go to reprint books or to print new books and to sponsor the distribution. This is exactly what Shivaram Swami is doing here, which is fantastic. So I really hope that he doesn't have to do this too many times because he's in need of money, because he should get plenty of money from the BBT for that particular purpose, because it's there written in the trust document.
I mean, he wants to preach to the Muslim people, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
nectar,
Yeah.
mercy to do that, because Muslims are not very easy to preach to. They want to preach to everybody else, you know,
It
take
is-
over the UK and Canada.
It's so interesting. Just the last week came 3 Muslims here,
Mm,
and they are so attracted to the temple or
That's
to
fantastic.
the deities.
that's fantastic.
And one of them, never someone asked me to clean the carpet,
Yeah.
and one lady took both of them to
Wow.
clean it.
This is wonderful. And I also learned from you too that many Muslims are actually shifting over to Christianity. So if they do that, maybe some of them will also shift over to Bhakti Yoga, like this. Because one thing with Islam is that they're strict with their dharma. They follow, you know, the Sharia laws, which is the kind of their version of dharma. You know, not to steal, they don't pay interest. If you're a strict Muslim, you don't drink alcohol,
And no
etc.
coffee.
and a coffee.
Yeah.
You know, so this is good, but it's more like towards the dharma. And if some of the Muslims want to go further, they won't find it in Islam. They can find a little bit more in Christianity, but the most they find is here. They actually want to know God, to try to love God. Then they have to study Prabhupada's books and hear from advanced devotees. Yeah. So there's hope. I mean, I had one Muslim as a volunteer, and he was so happy. You know, so he was playing guitar and he was chanting Hare Krishna. He made his own song like this. But then he also felt that I have to become a more serious Muslim. So he started to follow Ramadan and like this. And then you know, nowadays he's been reading a lot of Islam scriptures like this. And like Prabhupada says, you don't have to change anything. But if you're Christian, become a serious Christian. If you're Muslim, become a sincere Muslim. You know.
But I mean, still they don't know who God is.
Yeah, that's the thing, the conception. You know, God doesn't have a form. That's a common mistake in many religions. And you're not really allowed to say the name. In Judaism, for example, you can't say the name of God like this. You know, so that's why. And even in our own tradition, it was not until the Acharya Madhava and Puri we have awe and veneration, worship of Krishna. You know, in passive servitorship and servitorship, and maybe a little bit of friendship. But when Madhava and Puri came, and then later Lord Chaitanya, we started to worship Krishna together with Radha, and we went up to friendship, parenthood, and romantic love. Like this. This is the topmost, like the 6 Goswamis write about. You will only find that expanded so much in our Sampradaya. So if you really want to feel God is close in your heart, you have to move beyond. You know, first of all, God as a form. You know, He's not just the light or the totality of energy, or He has a spiritual form, and He can reciprocate. He can talk to you. You know, this you can serve Him directly, and He becomes pleased with you. Reciprocate. You know, if you help Srimati Radharani serve Krishna, if you help Balaram serve Krishna, then you get so much blessings, so much mercy. That you don't find in Islam, and not very much in Christianity either, or Judaism.
So the scrolling on the phone, you can see a lot of YouTube clips and everything. You learn a lot, you know. I mean, when they come, the Swamis come, and you know, you can see them there. You know.
Yeah, they make their own little clips, like Shivaram Swami.
Yeah.
I've
yeah.
seen some advertisement for Keshav Maharaj as well.
Yeah.
Seen
Yeah.
like that.
I saw also today from Radhanath Swami. He was walking around in London.
Okay.
You know, I was showing where he was when he was homeless before he met Krishna, the people. So he was sleeping outside. They were there.
I was seeing Jayapataka Swami also. He was coming back. He's,
Yeah.
you know, he's
Yeah.
pretty sick, but he's
Yeah.
still around.
So, did he go to England or to London? No.
I don't know.
No. No. Yeah.
Maybe we have reached the end of this class.
We never reached it.
I hope you get inspired, because there is a very good and quick path back home, back to God, to meet Krishna. You just have to figure out how to follow it properly, like that, and get the proper guidance. It's important.
But
Reading books is not enough.
But I mean, the Hare Krishna mantra is the only thing, you know, you need.
Yeah, yeah. That cleans your heart and prepares it for Krishna to enter and give you love. That's what it does. So, okay.
Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Jai.